Here we are at Google, and let's type in National Cholesterol Education Program. And the first return of Google will be the government's website for National Cholesterol Education Program. Let's click there. Here's the home page. Here they talk about that they were founded in 1985 and that the purpose is to develop guidelines for the treatment of high cholesterol in adults. And what we're interested in is the link down here, the Clinical Practice Guidelines for Cholesterol Management in Adults. So let's click here. And this is the page for the document. The document is called the Third Report for the Expert Panel on Detection, Evaluation, and Treatment of High Blood Cholesterol in Adults, also known as Adult Treatment Panel 3. This is the third time they've done this. And the couple links down below are the document itself. So let's take a look at the actual document with the recommendations. Now this is another page where you have to just scroll down and click on the PDF. Now here's the document for the guidelines of how to treat people with high cholesterol. This is the document that is guiding our doctors who are prescribing us statin medications. And if you scroll down, you will actually see the sections that talk about how to treat people with different levels of cholesterol. But let's go back up to the top to see who wrote this document. At the very top, you will see the list of names of the people who helped develop this document. This is the expert panel who develops these guidelines. Let's take a look at them. Look at the names: Grundy, Kleeman, Mertz, Brewer, Clark, Honeyhake, Pasternak, Smith, Stone. Remember these names for a second, because next we're going to find out if these people are being paid by drug companies. So let's go back out to the main page for the document. And let's scroll down to this link here that says Conflicts of Interest. This is where researchers are supposed to report if they have a conflict of interest in the studies that they're doing. If they are being paid by a company in the industry, then that is a direct conflict of interest, and they need to disclose that. So let's see what this says. These are the financial disclosures of the people who developed these guidelines. Now look at the names: Grundy, Kleeman, Mertz, Brewer, Clark, Honeyhake, Pasternak, Smith, and Stone. It's the same group that wrote that document. Now look at what this document says. Dr. Grundy has received honoraria, which is money, from Merck, Pfizer, Sankyo, Bayer, Merck Schering-Plough, Koss, Abbott, Bristol Myers Squibb. These are all pharmaceutical companies. Dr. Grundy received money from 10 different pharmaceutical companies. If you look down this list, 8 out of 9 of these expert panel members have received money from significant numbers of pharmaceutical companies. So my question to you is, do the people who are on this panel making recommendations for how to treat people with cholesterol problems, should this panel be made up of people who are being paid by pharmaceutical companies who will receive direct benefit if more and more people are being recommended to take statin drugs? My opinion is that this is horribly inappropriate. The lower that these people set the limit of healthy cholesterol levels, the more people will be recommended to take statin drugs. And the more the pharmaceutical companies who are paying these people will benefit from those recommendations. I mean, you can take a look at all this and make your own decision. Personally, I think this is garbage, but that's just me. One thing I want you to remember, though, is that right now we are looking at the National Institutes of Health website. This is the government's website. This information is all there. It's buried, which makes it harder to find, but it's right there on the government's website. So what is the science now showing about fat, cholesterol, and heart disease? Well, take a look at the cholesterol resources page that I've given you below. I do not expect you to trust me, a person that is not a doctor, on issues of whether or not something is healthy. So I've compiled a list of MDs and PhDs that have been my resources to determine what is healthy for me. These MDs and PhDs are all talking about the same thing, that fat, saturated fat, and cholesterol are not responsible for heart disease, and they have the studies and the information to back it up. I provided this here for you so that you can go about and do your own research and decide for yourself what is healthy. Start at the top of this resource page and work your way down. The first is a cardiologist who went on Dr. Oz. He's been practicing cardiology for 40 years, and he's saying that in his patients, he's noticed that statins don't do anything, and he has taken almost all of his patients off of statin medications. Below that, there's a video by Dr. David Diamond from the University of South Florida. This 1-hour video is unbelievable. He talks about his personal story. He had high cholesterol, he was overweight. He went to a doctor who wanted to put him on statins. He tried diet and lifestyle the way the government recommends. A low-fat diet. It didn't work, it had the opposite effect. So he took it upon himself, and he talks about all the research that he did, and he corrected it himself. Down below that, Dr. Walt Willett is from Harvard University. Dr. Walt Willett is the person, if you want a study that relates nutrition or lifestyle to health. Dr. Willett has published more than 1,000 articles on such subjects. He is the person that everybody goes to. And he just did a study of a whole bunch of studies. And he and a doctor from the University of Copenhagen have come out with a video of their findings. And they are saying fat and saturated fat are not responsible for heart disease. I've given you a lot of resources below, so take a look and educate yourself, and then you can make your decisions. I'll also show you a couple studies.